Today on 3D Outdoors,
Dale.
and I are changing the spark plugs on a Toyota Corolla, specifically a 2017, right after this. All right, first step is popping the decorative cover off. I think that's basically all it is. And then we get into our plugs.
10 millimeter.
10 millimeter to take off the tops there. Time to round up some tools and some spark plugs. All right. And so each one of these spark plugs has its own coil pack. Is that what?
Yep.
Just pop the little releases loose and unplug the wires.
Supposed to be able to just push them, but sometimes that don't work.
Sometimes you have to convince them a little bit.
Yeah.
There it goes. And we have ourselves some NGKs. That's what they come with, I guess, even, which is a good brand of plugs. You could get cheaper ones than this. These were $84 with tax for the 4. The salesman at the Autoport store asked me if I wanted to spend that or if I wanted auto lights, and I'm like, yes, I will spend the money to get the good ones. And I was showing off the plugs there as Dale pulled out the entire piece there.
Yep.
Instead of having a spark plug wire and a piece that goes over the top, this is the entire coil unit for each one that runs down and sits on top of the plug. It's a little bit different concept in these newer cars. You want to make sure you keep everything in order for when you put it back in.
Not so much the bolts.
What's that?
Not so much the bolts.
The bolts not necessarily, but definitely the wires,
There.
because you want the firing order to be correct. And now we're going to need spark plug wrench.
Oh.
All right, we're going to get the plugs out of there now. This is obviously foreign. It's a Toyota. We're going to need the 14, which luckily I have a complete socket set for spark plugs, so we have the 14 on hand. So we'll be able to drop that in there and get those taken out. Be curious to see how these plugs look when they come out, since we don't think they've ever been changed. Anthony purchased this as a used vehicle, so my guess is nobody's ever bothered to change them. Oh, and Anthony came home from work to join us here in the shop while we work on his vehicle now. Looking all snazzy.
That's why,
All right, let's go home then. He finished.
Yeah.
honestly, I look all snazzy. That's why I can't get my hands dirty.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
It's a nice white shirt.
One of those. How do our old plugs look?
old. Oily. The hell was that? Oh,
The grommet out of the thing.
yeah.
So yeah, those look like they were probably the original plugs in the vehicle there. Yeah, they say Japan right on them. Denso Japan. So they aren't NGKs, they say Denso on them. But they are burnt at the bottom of the insulator there is really toasted up. So we'll get these back out, get the new ones put in, and we'll get right back to you. All right, one thing we did notice here, we're not actually going to dive in and fix this anytime soon, but this plug had quite a bit of oil on it when we pulled it out. Now the oil is not, I mean there's some ran down on here, but was not down in the cylinder. This isn't carboned up a bunch like it's been burning a bunch of oil. The oil is around the top. That's an indication of the valve cover gasket is leaking because these...
You got O-rings in here that leak. They'll get a tendency to start leaking after a while.
So that's what's happening there, but we're gonna let it ride a little bit. It will smoke a little bit when we first start it up, but we're gonna get the new plugs put in and just leave it as is. One thing to note, when we put this in, we're gonna be careful with the plugs. The plastic grommet has been popping off with the plugs as we've been pulling them out of the socket. Obviously, if you get one of those stuck down at the bottom, how do you get the grommet back out? So we're just lightly going to put it down in there with the grommet if we can, and then hopefully... All right, getting the new plugs put in, reverse procedure to get those down in there. Get all four put back in, and then we'll put the rest back in. Be right with you. Be right back with you. All right, now it's time to put the coil packs back in. Had those laid up here in order. Drop that back in. Put the bolt back in. It's pretty self-explanatory because you have to drop them in there so the bolt lines up in the spots, so it's not like, am I putting it in the right way or backwards or whatever, facing the wrong direction. They have to be in a certain way to put the bolts back in. So you drop them in, line up where the bolts go, and you're set. Screw those back down, tighten them down with a 10mm wrench. And as you can tell, they don't have to be overly tight, so don't go stripping out the aluminum or anything like that. And then just plug your wires into each one of the coil packs.
Start her up.
And then Anthony will hop in and fire it up. Success! Well, this is Dan, Anthony, and Dale with 3D Outdoors, reminding you to get into the outdoors and enjoy everything it has to offer. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. You always follow us over at 3d-outdoors.com, where we put everything together. See you next time.